Hey everyone, Hathematics here, and I found an awesome Shadebinder build for PvP that I wanted to share with you. This build is designed for area domination and will help you be an absolute terror in your PvP lobbies. Be sure to enable public comments on your Steam profile, and then let's get into it. To maximize this build, you'll want the following weapons and perks. First, a 120 RPM hand cannon, preferably with a damage perk like Rampage or Swashbuckler. Deafening Whisper Waveform grenade launcher with Wellspring and quick access sling weapon mod. And lastly, Salvation's Grip exotic grenade launcher. This build focuses on shattering enemies to trigger damage buffs and perks. So if you don't have a damage perk 120, just bring your favorite roll. While a damage perk is preferred for lethality, the build is still viable regardless of your roll. If you missed out on getting a Rampage Overflow True Prophecy, you're in luck. Steady Hand can roll with Slide Shot and Swashbuckler and will still offer similar utility. Swashbuckler ×1 will 2-tap enemy guardians with 5 resilience or lower. Slide Shot extends the range and adds rounds directly to the magazine. It's kind of like a knockoff True Prophecy. To be honest, it's like the Better Call Saul of this weapon archetype. It's still very good. It's still worth your time. Not quite as good as the original. So let's talk about special weapons now. To understand why we're using a Waveform grenade launcher, we need to understand the differences. Unlike traditional grenade launchers, Waveforms do not cause splash damage outside of the immediate impact radius. So in other words, the wave on the ground will never kill you. This means that it's great for close range engagements and preventing accidental suicides from unpredictable stasis formations. The goal in mind here is to use this as your answer to Shatter Dive. Create stasis crystals, then hipfire your waveform at the ground to shatter them. This is a very easy way to secure kills and activate some awesome perks to make you more lethal to clean up any other guardians in the nearby area. While a traditional grenade launcher has higher utility on its own, the risk of suicides makes it less effective for this specific playstyle. Look for a roll with Wellspring. Wellspring boosts ability recharge rates for every weapon kill, which helps ensure that we have a grenade, melee, or rift for all encounters. If you don't have a Deafening Whisper with Wellspring, auto-loading holster is the next best option. Quick access sling speeds up weapon swap time on an empty magazine. Since this weapon is only capable of holding one round, the perk is triggered every time we shoot and swap. This is great for taking advantage of frozen players that may have survived a stasis encounter. Last, we've got Salvation's Grip, which is one of the most entertaining heavy weapons in the game. Think of this as a mix of a fusion rifle and a glacier grenade, except you can keep this weapon charged indefinitely. This is a menace when attacking Iron Banner and control zones. If you can see that capture indicator, all you have to do is charge up, peak fire, and then detonate with your waveform. Massive kill potential. Now that we have our weapons set, let's move on to abilities, aspects, and fragments. For grenade, we'll just clear the deck right now. Just use Glacier Grenade for this build. It's the only one that you want to use. For melee, Warlock has Penumbral Blast, which is its ranged melee attack. The range on this melee is approximately 21 meters. But the nice thing is, if you hit one person with that melee charge, it has a pretty substantial area of effect. You'll see in these clips here that I'm able to freeze 2 and sometimes even 3 players with a single melee charge. This is a wonderful attack against enemy supers, shotgunners, and really everything but mid to long range players. Just be aware that the frozen duration is just barely over 1 second, so you have to be able to capitalize immediately, or you may miss your chance to secure that frozen kill. Now let's talk about aspects. Ice Flare Bolts creates a Cold Snap trail to freeze additional enemies on shatter kills. The Cold Snap trail tracks and chains from one enemy to the next. This creates situations where you can single-handedly win 1v3 or even 1v4 scenarios by freezing one enemy with a melee, then chaining cold snaps between them. Frost Pulse creates a freezing pulse during Rift casting animations. I don't like to use this aggressively. I consider it a bonus if someone happens to push me at that perfect time to end up frozen. I know that some builds can use this aggressively. It's just not what I would suggest for this specific build. For fragments, I suggest using Whisper of Hedrons for bonus weapon damage on shatter kills, Whisper of Fissures for bonus damage to stasis explosions, Whisper of Shards for enhanced grenade ability recharge on shattered stasis crystals, and then either Whisper of Durance or Whisper of Bonds. I picked Durance in order to hit 100 strength, but Bonds is the better choice if your stat split can handle it. For exotic armor, I like to use Claws of Ahamkara, which adds a second melee charge. This build offers up to 7 potential chances to freeze enemies, 2 melee charges, grenade, rift, ice flare bolts, heavy ammo, and Shadebinder super. To round out the build, the mods that I like to use are Radiant Light, Powerful Friends, Absolution, Outreach ×2, Focusing Strike, High Energy Fire, Taking Charge, Dynamo, Grenade Launcher Loader, Grenade Launcher Scav, and stat mods to boost my strength up to 100. Here you'll notice that my stat breakdown focuses primarily on strength and mobility. All of the mods that we've selected are designed so using or killing with an ability grants ability recharge. So it's another great way to minimize cooldowns and maximize crowd control potential. While I have had some success with this build in 3v3 situations, including even structured scrim environments, this build shines brightest in 6v6, where you can single-handedly dominate an entire enemy team. Higher-end 3-team playlists like Trials or Comp tend to have more team coordination and communication. You're far less likely to get an Ice Flare team wipe than you are to get 4 to 5 kills in quick play. This week's TWAB brought up some serious adjustments to Stasis and Shatter damage, so I would suggest jumping in on this and enjoying it while you still can. That's everything for today. Please like, comment, and sub if you enjoyed this video. I'm Hathematics, and I will see you next time.